Yo guys, what's going on? So this is gonna be the NCP Week 2 tournament, and I have to be a little bit quieter because Melissa already went to bed, so I have to be a little bit quieter in the intro of this, but in the battle, normal volume, whatever. We're having a good time. So in this week, we won our week 1, clearly, because this is tournament. It's one a limb and you're done. We won versus Big Time Brownie. And, wait, is that his name? I always want to say Big Time Rush, so I think that's his name. Shows how much of a child I am. Yeah, Big Time Brownie. So this week we are going up against Mid Pokemaster. Now, this guy I've known for a really long time, right? I mean, I feel like I've known him for a really long time. Like, since he came into the Wi-Fi scene, I feel like he was in a lot of the quote-unquote less popular leagues that I was in, compared to things like the... not UCL. WBE and the APA, things like that, things that I did for the off seasons that ended up being some of my favorite leagues ever. He was in starting out, and I don't think we played that much before this, like before like Gen 8, but now that we've been in Gen 8, we played one other time. He has vastly improved since like Gen 7, so he beat me pretty easily with the team that I took over for in UBL. But now this is a team that I drafted, and this has some of my favorite mons that I've ever drafted, so I'm really excited to go up against him. But he has a very threatening team. He has Sandcore of Excadrill plus Gigalith. He has Tangrowth, which is really annoying for my team to break. He has Comfey, which is really annoying for my team to break because it really does check my 2 offensive threats very easily with its priority stab. And then to top it all off, he has Heracross, which my team does not have a switch into. It is absolutely it decimates me. In short, it is absolutely impossible for me to switch into that, especially if it is Guts and it just carries knockoff. So my game plan for this is kind of to try to wear down the walls a little bit and then pick off their offense with priority, because their offense is really weak to a lot of the priority I have. So Excadrill takes neutral damage from Ice Shard and Grassy Glide. Heracross takes neutral from Ice Shard, or no, resisted is fighting. I don't know. It's too tired for me to think. But Drake is ult, and Latios both take super effective damage from Ice Shard, which is pretty big. So that's kind of the whole idea of the team, is to chip everything down with pivoting, plus a little bit of a scummy set to start out with. So we're rocking this Aegislash set. This has enough special attack investment to be able to guaranteed 2-shot Excadrill. It has enough special attack investment to be able to guaranteed 3-hit KO Tangrowth, to be able to, what else? I think I had just enough special attack investment for Shadow Ball to deal with Tangrowth, because this is pretty much what I am going to use to wear down Tangrowth, because Tangrowth has no reason to switch out whenever I have this thing in on the start off. It can knock me off, it can get rid of my leftovers, things like that. But if I go for King Shield and then I go for Substitute, Knockoff and Earthquake never break my sub from -1 attack Tangrowth, which is really important. I can Toxic it, I can King Shield, I can sub up, and I can wear down the entire team, and it can pretty much force in something to try to take the hit. If I'm behind a sub and they go into Gigalith, I can literally do the exact same thing to Gigalith, and it'll wear down the 2 walls that they have on the team very easily. And Comfey should never want to stay in on me fearing something like an Iron Head or a Flash Cannon, so I think that's where they would go into Tangrowth hard, because Tangrowth is also pretty much their only switch in to my Aegislash. So that's kind of what I wanted to build the team around. Originally, I had it as specs with a lot of pivoting, like Baton Pass, U-turn, 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 and then I think I also had Excelgor over Piloswine, but then I ended up switching up the team a little bit. But I went with Aegislash because this thing, it just breaks down the walls unbelievably easily. Even Volibee, like, just it gets absolutely shredded by this set. So I really like it. Hopefully, I can put in a lot of work. And more than likely it's going to be my lead, because I tend to lead pretty similarly every time. I tend to lead with my Stealth Rocker or with something to get momentum. So that would be Zapdos, Piloswine, or Hydreigon for this team specifically, meaning that Comfey matches up phenomenally as a lead for them, but also Heracross matches up pretty well versus me for a lead, and so does Tangrowth, because Tangrowth, I mean, it doesn't match up well versus this, but like this and this, it can tank a hit from pretty easily, knock off my Violite, things like that, and become really annoying. So more than likely going to be my lead of choice, but we'll see once we get into the battle. I don't really have a designated lead for this. It's just more so what I see. If I see Heracross, if I have Aegislash like in the position where I think it's going to be versus their team, like if they bring no Dracozolt and no Volibee, then I'm going to lead off with Aegislash because Piloswine is a little bit more expendable. Piloswine, you'll see what that is. But next up, after I had Aegislash, I pretty much guaranteed put on Choice Banded Galar Zapdos. Choice Banded Galar Zapdos has no switch-ins on their entire team. It has switch-ins to one of their stabs. Like, even CC is pretty spammable versus them. Comfey is the only resist. But if I can U-turn on that coming in, I can drop in my Aegislash and I can be in the position that I said I wanted to be from lead. So that's kind of why I wanted to put this on the team immediately after. It really does force a lot versus them. But Brave Bird, it just absolutely nukes everything that is not named Gigalith, and Close Combat nukes everything that is not named Latios or Comfey. So, and even Latios takes like 60% from Choice Band at Close Combat. It is unbelievably stupid. I have enough speed for, I believe, Heracross, because Excadrill, if it comes, I believe it's going to be Adamant, so I don't even need to worry about outspeeding that. I just need to worry about outspeeding Jolly Max Speed Heracross, and that's kind of where I went from there. So yeah, and then next up we have Piloswine. Piloswine is going to be our designated Dracozolt check. I have, so max HP with 84 in defense and 104 in Spadef allows me to live 2 modest Life Orb Fire Blasts with Thick Fat from Dracozolt, I believe. It's either modest or like timid with a lot of special attack investment, but it also allows me to live 2 Dragon Claws. But basically I can live a plethora of hits with this from Dracozolt, so if Dracozolt does come, that's where this thing is going to be the big check. But this thing also just hits a lot of their team really hard. The only thing it becomes a little bit more useless against is if they have Heracross plus Comfey left, then it's kind of useless. But also my rocker, the attack investment allows me to guaranteed 3-hit KO Fizz Def Tangrowth, I believe, with Icicle Crash. Not counting Giga Drain recovery, just if they don't have Giga Drain for whatever reason. But Icicle Crash allows me to 3-hit KO them. Earthquake allows me to 2-hit KO Gigalith. And then Ice Shard allows me to pick off Excadrill at, I believe, 30% is what I went for. Because if I'm able to get like a couple U-turns off on it, a Shadow Ball, and it's Life Orb with rocks or something like that, I feel like 30% is a good benchmark to hit. But that's where I went for that. And then Fizz Def Thwackey. Thwackey is there specifically for the Excadrill. It is the only switch in I have to Excadrill, but I think that Mid is pretty smart, right? I think he's a very intelligent person. He also builds with pretty intelligent people, so I think that he's going to be bringing a lot of ground stab that does not get affected by Grassy Surge, like High Horsepower, Stomping Tantrum, things like that, which makes this a little bit less good of a check versus Excadrill, because it can just like High Horsepower into Iron Head me and it can do like 50% to me, but then they're going to be taking like Grassy Glide, potential knockoff, Wood Hammer, something like that. So but this is going to be the designated check. Every time I bring it in versus Excadrill, I'm going to click U-turn, because Tangrowth is quite literally the easiest switch in the entire world for them. And even if I click U-turn versus Excadrill, I can then drop in something like my Aegislash, King Shield up as they go for, hopefully not an Earthquake, but if it is Earthquake and Grassy Terrain, I can live one anyway. I go for Shadow Ball, do a lot of damage, and then I just switch back into Thwackey. So I think I have a really good check to it, but that's just all it is. It's not a check. I mean, it's a check, it's not a counter. So really good defensive core here that just gets finished off by Sylveon. Hyper Voice, Wish, Protect, Toxic. As you can see, Toxic is going to be a really good way for me to chip down my opponent's team, unless they bring Aromatherapy on Comfey. But Wish and Protect is there because I need to keep my Piloswine healthy if they do bring Dracozolt, and it's also a really good way for me to keep Thwackey healthy. But I have full Fizz Def. This allows me to live two Life Orb Size Shocks from Timid Latios, which they have to run Timid or Hydra. It allows me to live 2 Life Orb Size Shocks after Grassy Terrain recovery with Stealth Rocks up. It also allows me to live 2 Life Orb Psychics after Stealth Rocks, I believe. I don't need any investment for that because of the base 130 Spadef. It tanks it naturally. I believe that's what it is. But either way, this is my check to Latios. It's the only check I have to it anyway. it just kind of is what it is. And then last but not least, we have Hydreigon. So this Hydreigon was a little difficult for me to figure out exactly what I wanted to do. So I knew I wanted it to hit the exact same benchmark as Galar Zapdos for being able to outspeed Jolly Max Speed Heracross. If I'm able to get Heracross with Guts Up and I'm able to bring this thing in and I'm able to try to gain a little bit of offensive momentum as it switches out, then that's perfect. So I knew I needed to hit that benchmark. I also knew that I wanted Flamethrower to be able to kill Heracross after rocks and 2 turns of Flame Orb Flame Orb damage. So that way, if I like protect once with this, if I protect once with this, I can kill with a Flamethrower from this with no HP investment, and that's what this does. If it takes a little bit more damage, then easy, but whatever. You guys get the point. And then for the bulk, I just wanted the numbers to look pretty, so I put even investment in both to match with the attack. But that is kind of where I went with this. I don't really think that there is much better of a Hydreigon set, but I think that this is better than, say, Lantern or Excelgor in this matchup. Excelgor is pretty hard walled this game, in my opinion. Like, it could be decent, but it invites in Gigalith every single time. Actually, I could go Excelgor. But I feel as though it doesn't do everything that I want it to do. But now that I'm looking at it, like, it kind of baits in Comfey, which is what gets me an Aegislash. This also baits in Comfey. I don't know. I really like this Hydreigon set, just because it also pressures Tangrowth, but Excelgor also pressures Tangrowth. Yeah. I think I could have changed this out for Excelgor, maybe. But I also really like this because it allows me, with the AV, the max HP, and the 12 Spadef, I actually live a Draco Meteor from Latios after Stealth Rocks if I'm at full health, I believe. Let me double check that, actually. If it's non-boosting, yeah. Not after Stealth Rocks, it's a roll after Stealth Rocks. But, yeah. As you can see, it does like 79 to 94. So it's a roll after Stealth Rocks, but it's a check nonetheless, just in case. And if it's Choice Scarf to like Psychic, I wanted to have the Dark Immunity to be able to come in and pressure it. But that is going to be the team that I'm bringing versus mid. Let's go ahead and hop right over to the battle. What's going on, everyone? My name is Under the Radar, and welcome back to the NCP. This is going to be the round 2 game for the SummerSlam tourney. Pretty nervous for this game, if I'm being 100% honest. It's against mid, and mid has like significantly improved over the time of me knowing the guy. So he's very, very good. Like, back in the day, I've beaten him a couple times, but as of recent, I haven't been able to beat him. He's very, very good. So I'm pretty nervous, but either way, I'm really nervous to see what he brings, because he has a really offensive team, which I don't really switch into all that well, which is kind of disappointing. But phenomenal guy. Really love the kid. But let's see. No Heracross. Sorry? So I was really expecting to see Heracross over Dracozolt. But, you know, it is what it is. So I think I'm just going to lead off with my Aegislash. That was kind of the designated lead I came up with for this game. And I typically don't lead off with what I have in the first slot, so that's kind of why I put it there, maybe to throw him off a little bit. I usually put my Stealth Rocker in the middle, and then I lead off with that. So I'm hoping that he predicts that and leads off with something like Tangrowth, maybe. Whew. Okay. Is there anything else that, like, so I have AV Hydra. AV Hydra is a little bit nicer here for, like, I don't know, potentially like fully special Dracozolt and maybe a Draco from Lottie or a Dragon Pulse from Setup Lottie. Like, that's about like the only thing that it's really useful for, but I didn't need another item on it. Like, I didn't need lefties, because more than likely that's gonna be my knockoff fodder. So yeah. Comfey, yep. It's kind of what I was expecting. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to fire off a sub. Does it go for U-turn so they're not set up? That's really good. That did 2. That literally did 2. versus Tangrowth. Let's see. So if I get them to -1 attack with knockoff or with King Shield, Earthquake never breaks my sub. Part of me wants to go straight for a Toxic, but part of me also wants to click King Shield to see if they're going to go for knockoff. If they go for Leech Seed, that's a good play. Yep, perfect. Now they don't break my sub, and now I get a Toxic. Now we go for Toxic. And I do outspeed him, so that's a little unfortunate. I probably should have ran 0 speed IVs. But you know, it is what it is. Okay. The sub stays up. I'm almost back at full health. This thing being Toxic is really nice. Are they lefties? They might be AV. I'm going to go for King Shield just to rack up a little bit more Toxic damage. They might go for another knockoff if they switch out. That's fine. I still have my sub up. They really are going to struggle to break this. Perfect. Now I'm going to go for a Shadow Ball, because I'm at full health. If they're not AV, if they're physically defensive, like I'm somewhat expecting, it's going to be doing 52 to 62, which is pretty good damage. I don't think it's AV, but... So what I'm going to do here, since Toxic is starting to rack up and they got the Spit F drop, I'm going to click sub first, because I know they're not going to stay in for this. I know that they're not going to stay in with how low this thing is. They're going to try to get it out and get it back in. So I'm going to click sub first. Yep. Free sub. Get in drill. I do 50% to this thing. I'm gonna Shadow Ball because I revealed King Shield before, like before this. So he might... No, he just goes for high horsepower. Okay. I could have King Shielded there. But at the same time, I don't really know how much it matters. He is Life Orb, which is really good information. Go straight for a Shadow Ball. Perfect. This Aegislash is going to be super annoying for him. Like, unbelievably annoying. I'm going to switch out here, and I'm going to go into my Thwacky. Excadrill was probably one of the bigger threats to my team if I was a betting man, but Thing being extremely weakened is really nice. If he goes for Iron Head or high, I'm assuming he's going to go for high horsepower or SD here, expecting the King Shield. High horsepower, okay. Does 0. And then I'm going to go for U-turn here, expecting Tangrowth to come out. And then I'm going to try to get him trapped in the vortex. Yep. Because I can beat this thing 1v1 with my Tangrowth pretty much any day of the week once it's toxic. And since it is toxic, I don't really care. Nice damage. Are you Rocky Helmet? You are. That's good to know. I'm going to drop in my bird. And then with my bird in, I think I'm just going to click U-turn again. Or do I click Brave Bird and claim one? I kind of want to click U-turn. Because it'll kill this. Oh, yeah. Withdraws. They're going to go into Comfey here. If I clicked Brave Bird, I killed this thing. And didn't kill it, but this is also Rocky Helmet. Okay, so that's how they're going to try to stop the Vortex. Going to drop in my Aegislash here. Super nice. And I'm just going to fire off a Shadow Ball here. Primarily because if Comfey comes, if it stays in, I want to get a little bit of chip damage off. 37 to 45 with lefties plus grassy terrain. I'm back at full anyway. So I'm gonna click Shadow Ball here. It's pretty free. Went for Synth. Okay. So U-turn, Synthesis, Draining Kiss, and something else. Probably Giga Drain. Let's see how Spadef you are. 37 to 45 is what this should do. Did like 32. So you have some Spadef investment. No, that did 37. Part of me just wants to go for Shadow Ball again. Because, like, this thing isn't really touching me. Went right into Gigalith. Nice. How much? The Spadef drop kind of sucks for him. So he is mixed defensive. I'm going to King Shield no matter what, though. Because, like, even if you get up rocks, I don't really care. So now I'm going to fire off another Shadow Ball because they're at -1 Spadef and they're not max Spadef investment, but they are Smooth Rock. 36 to 43. I'm going to go for sub first. See if they're Earthquake. They're Stomping Tantrum. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to go into my Piloswine. And I'm going to get up rocks of my own. Kind of wish I got that Toxic off instead of the second Shadow Ball, but you know it is what it is. It's whatever. Another Tantrum. Yep. How much does Body Press do to me? 32% from non-invested. I'm just going to get on my rocks. I think by just getting on my rocks, I start to pressure pretty much everything. Like, you know, this thing is fully Fizz Def, which I know it's not. Does 35 to 42. Comfey comes in. Okay. Get them nice Shirakis. So how much do I take from a Comfy Giga Drain? Or Comfy, whatever it's called. I take... I only take 25%. I kind of want to fire off an Earthquake. Just to see what they go for. Because, like, as much as I don't like saying that something is expendable, Piloswine is kind of expendable. Like, it's really only here to switch into some things. And by some things, I mean, like, Tangrowth, every now and then, depending on what it's going for. Gigalith sometimes. But, okay. Now we know that they're not super speedy. Part of me wants to go for a Crash here. Because it kills, even fully Fizz Def. And I don't die from a Giga Drain. Yeah, I'm going to go for a Crash. And if I win the speed tie, actually, they might be relaxed if they're Giga Drain. Withdraws. Okay, what are you going into? Comfey. Let's see. 28 to 34 to fully Fizz Def. Let's see how deaf are you. You're pretty deaf. You are pretty deaf. Are you sure it does 13 to 17? I'm gonna go for Earthquake. I want to keep this thing low. And they go for Kiss. Okay, cool. So they just lost this thing, which is nice. Because Earthquake does 32 to 39. That's one Rocky Helmet Mon down that I was really frustrated about having to switch into. Now, funnily enough, this thing goes in. This thing goes in on everything. If I can get a wish pass to this thing. Remember when I said this thing was expendable? Remember how I'm an idiot? Yeah, me too. Yeah, this thing can win. Not easily, but it can win. How much does Excadrill take from an Ice Shard? 21 to 25. I'm just gonna go hard into Thwacky. Like, this is what Thwacky was here for, you know? And if they go for Iron Head, like, whatever, I guess. It's 23 to 28. I'm two-shot by it after rocks, I think. I need to be above 51% after. No, because they're Life Orbed. I forgot about that. They're going to hard switch. So what I'm going to do in order to help myself out a little bit in the late game, I think I'm going to go for a knockoff and get rid of Tangrowth's Rocky Helmet. Or do I just U-turn? I'm going to U-turn. Like, I don't... are they going to stay in? No. Okay, cool. So I think they're going to go into Growth. Take some rocks, Chip. Remember when this thing had Regenerator? Yeah, me too. And now I'm going to go into my Hydra. I'm going to go into my Hydra. And I kind of just want to click Flash Cannon. But part of me also just wants to click Dark Pulse because it'll kill the Tangrowth. Oh my god, are you kidding me? What? Well, I didn't click a move yet, so I'm not gonna worry about it, but what I'm considering doing here is clicking Flash Cannon or Dark Pulse. I'm just gonna click Flash Cannon. Alrighty guys, we are back pretty much where we left off. Almost identical. My Thwacky has a little bit less health, but you know, it is what it is. This is where I dropped in my Hydra, and I was debating between Flash Cannon and Dark Pulse. So let's see how much health this Tangrowth is at, because if it's at 31, it's not. It's 30. I'm gonna click Flash Cannon because I'm not scared of anything this thing can do to me, and I want to get more damage off on the Gigalith. And at least the Flash Cannon to the Gigalith is going to be doing like 30%, give or take. He stayed in. Before Leech Seed. Okay. Does this heal you? Like to the point where you don't die? I think it does. Which is annoying. Like that's really annoying. But you know what? It's still super low. I'm going to click U-turn here. Because U-turn kills. Does 15 to 18, and he's at 12 to fully Fizz Def. So U-turn is definitely good here. Whenever it comes back in, it pretty much dies to everything. If they go into gigs, I can drop in my bird. They stay in, so they're going to sack this thing off, which is great. And now, what do I drop in? I think I drop in my bird, because that forces in Lottie. I drop in my bird because it forces in Lottie. Yep. Oh, hey, my Lottie spread, or Sprite. I'm going to go hard into my Sylveon. He Calm Minds up. Hyper Voice and Hyper Voice kills. I'm more expecting this to have Psy Shock. Yep. Wow, that did a lot. Okay, so he's Life Orbed. What do I want to do here? I kind of want to click Toxic. I'm gonna go for Wish. I have to keep this thing healthy. Like I have to for this Latios. I wonder if this thing has Heavy Slam. Does 54 to 64. I'm gonna click Protect, get this back up to full. It'll stall out a turn of sand. Yeah. My Thwacky being so low means I don't have Grassy Glide for the Excadrill, but I do have Ice Shard. Yep, does have Heavy Slam. Good to figure out now. So now I'm going to sack off my Thwacky, I think. Yep. Gonna sack off my Thwacky. Then I'm gonna go into my bird. Ooh! What'd you switch into, my friend? Excadrill. Good play. Good play. But you're at 30%. I know how I'm gonna play around this. This thing has done its job. It broke down the Comfey, the Tangrowth perfectly. I'm gonna click King Shield first. $60 to $71, I'm at 136. I'm at 81. Give me this. That's high horsepower too. That's not even Earthquake. Yep. Perfect. Now this thing is dead. So Drill is dead. If they go into Lottie here, I'm going to click King Shield. Now they go into Dracozolt, which is a good play. Which is unfortunately a good play. I'm going to click King Shield, expecting... I mean, they're going to go for Stomping Tantrum, I believe. They were Eject Pack. Cool bring. That means they're mixed with Draco. That means they are mixed with Draco. What does one think about that? One thinks that it would be stupid to switch out here. I'm gonna go for a Shadow Ball just in case they try to set up or they over predict and they go for, yeah. I wouldn't say if they went for like Psychic or something, but even then, I'm pretty sure that killed. Yeah. But they're at 50%. They're less than 50 because of the sand. And then I go into my Sylveon. And I think I'm going to click Toxic. Or do I click Hyper Voice? I'm going to click Toxic. Like, there's no way you should stay in here. You should always go into Gigalith. Like, that is the only thing that makes logical sense in my brain is going into Gigalith here. Yep. Landed the Toxic. Sylveon is so good, bro. So good. So freaking good. Sandstorm subsided. That's perfect. That means this thing is no longer in sand. 38 to 45. How much does Piloswine do with Ice Shard to Lottie? 42 to 50. It'll die to rocks. I'm gonna click Hyper Voice so they can't switch back in and get up sand. That's what I'm gonna do. Yep. Perfect. I mean, not perfect because like Lottie now like cleans my clock, but like you won't be able to get up sand. My Zapdos can always revenge kill the Draco's ult. Okay. I think I see the end game. I think. Pretty sure Piloswine gets this end game. Draco Meteor does 52% maximum. How much is that at? So he brought this in first, so I'm gonna go for Hyper Voice. I'm gonna let this thing kill me, and I'm gonna go into my Zapdos. Versus Latios. I need to make sure a Choice Band in close combat kills. It does. Does 63 to 74, so I'll always be able to put it in Ice Shard range, even if it's like max HP or some shit. So I click Choice Band in close combat. That drops. Lottie comes in. If it tries to recover up on me, I'm going to click close combat repeatedly. The only way that it stalls us out of it is if it's max HP Life Orb, but I don't think it is. Like, it'll probably have some HP. Like, it'll probably have maybe, let's see, 108 being the max for a Life Orb number. 57 to 68 is what it does. Piloswine's Ice Shard does 39 to 46. I'm clicking close combat. Dragon Pulse. Cool. Go hard Pylo. And I click Ice Shard. And I think that wraps up the game. I think we're moving on. Let's see. Can we get it? Ba-boom! As my good buddy D-Ray would say. Oh, man. That was a phenomenal battle. That was an absolutely phenomenal battle. GG to mid. That was probably one of my favorite battles against him. Like, I think it was very, very... How do I say this? I don't know. It didn't have any hacks. It was a good game. It was a phenomenal game. GG to my boy Mid. Love you to death, brother. I'm so glad that he is back into Draft League again on the Wi-Fi scene. It was phenomenal facing him. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and get him out of here. Mid's links will be down in the description below. Go check him out. Again, love the dude to death. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and get him out of here. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.